बात करना गो मैकेनिक पे एक ही करके हद क्योंकि तीनों पब्लिक हैं. दैट्स व्हाई आई वांट टू आस्क यू. तो बायजू को बताओ कि बायजू में रॉन्ग क्या हो रहा है.
Somewhere Byju, I think the whole aggressive sales model kind of went flat. Right, the whole sales culture they built, the whole sales model they built, where everyone had to sell and the pressure they were in after raising large rounds. That is where I think the whole cord got broken. Because then some people in the team started doing few things which were not the right way to build the business. No one is saying that founder knew or did not knew. We don't know that. But नीचे जो sales heads थे, category managers थे, directors थे, उनको तो targets पूरे करने थे ना. We have heard calls in general sense. Old public bhi hai, I think, where Byju sales directors or sales heads are shouting on their teams कि अगर आज इतनी sales नहीं है, you will be fired, and literally abusing them, right? तो अब मैं एक सेल्स वाला हूँ तो मुझे क्या मतलब है यार, मैं तो बच्चों को फोन करूंगा और कैसे भी करके बेचूंगा. So I think that went really bad. The aggressive pressure to grow.
But do you think ये sales वाला ये बहुत सारी large companies में होता ही है? And I'll tell you, मैं specific FMCG companies की बात कर रहा हूँ. जैसे मान लो, I'm giving you examples, but बहुत large popular FMCG companies उनका भी beat wise उनके salesman को दिया जाता है या कि बोले यहाँ पे जाओ, इतने तुमको sell करके ही आना है, नहीं तो तुम गए.
यहाँ पे सिर्फ sales नहीं हो रही थी ना, यहाँ पे sales के साथ साथ उनको लोन भी दिया जा रहा था लोगों को. Right, so it was mis-selling. आपने मुझे लाइफ बॉय बेचा 10 रुपए का, चलो मेरे 10 रुपए तो गए. यहाँ पे आप मुझे 10 रुपए का लाइफ बॉय भी बेच रहे हो और 10 रुपए का लोन भी दे रहे हो मुझे, जो मुझे पे बैक करना है. राइट, सो आई एम पेइंग द लोन ऑल्सो एंड आई एम ऑल्सो पेइंग फॉर द लाइफ बॉय. राइट, सो दिस हैपेंड एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकली. राइट, सो आई थिंक द एग्रेसिव ग्रोथ प्रेशर एंड कोविड इंड्यूस्ड ग्रोथ was actually thought of real. COVID growth was not real for most of the companies, right? So I think that happened and they were able to raise a lot of money. They acquired Akash and suddenly you have to grow very fast. And you are touted as the world's #1 tech company, privately listed.
World's biggest tech
तो
company.
सोचो यार, 22 बिलियन 23 बिलियन पे हो आप, तो आपको तो कुछ भी करके वो losing image is very hard.
Yeah.
Reaching there is tough, but when you reach there, maintaining that is harder. Right, when you're an underdog, you don't care.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what sunk cost fallacy or whatever you want to call that. When you are no one, you can do anything. But when you are someone, it's very hard to maintain what you are doing, and you cannot do random things now. So I think that happened a lot for the Byjus of the world in general, that they became too large, and they got caught in their own fame, right? So it was like self-created चक्रव्यूह कि भाई अब तो यहाँ पहुंच गए, अब 22 बिलियन से 2 बिलियन पे तो नहीं आ सकते, और 1000 करोड़ या 2000 करोड़ या 5000 करोड़ के रेवेन्यू से 500 करोड़ के रेवेन्यू पे तो नहीं आ सकते. तो अब क्या करें? You're saying they bought Akash. That was a legend, right? Akash was a vision of the country. मतलब generations grow up हुई हैं आकाश पे.
Yeah. आकाश ही है.
Generations grow up हुई हैं कि कहाँ गए IIT, कहाँ से? आकाश से. मेडिकल आकाश से. तो आकाश तो मतलब Akash brought the whole coaching culture to the country, right? With कोटा तो बहुत कम लोग जानते थे और कोटा तो बहुत कम लोग जा पाते थे. Akash was everything. Akash kind of was the OYO model for education in a true sense, right? Or rather, OYO is a Akash model for hospitality in the true sense, right? But they acquired Akash, and after acquiring Akash, now they've sued Akash or they've done a case on the founder, and founder is fighting with them. Why? At least as per the reports, as per the media reports, right?
I didn't know that.
Why? मतलब फिर फाइट क्या, अगर इतना सब कुछ चल रहा था हंकी डोरी, then what's the issue? Why not everyone is coming together on the same page and saying यार हम तो साथ मिलके बना रहे हैं, right? Because और अभी like we read in the news today only, Byju has put 2 of the companies for sale. I think Great Learning and one more. So मतलब चल क्या रहा है, सीन क्या चल रहा है? So is it like an asset management company now rather than a tech company? Or is it a tech company who is selling assets? So some of the large companies have become asset management companies is what I feel.
But that's what large companies usually do. If you look at GlaxoSmith or Unilever or these people, they buy brands at a smaller valuation, then they make it big and then they sell it in a
But then they're not in the news for the wrong reason and not paying back loans.
Yeah.
Not paying back dues. I think some hedge fund has sued them in US. Lately, I was reading somewhere. It's public, I guess. Some hedge fund, some random hedge fund has sued them in US over a payment of I think $500 million or $1 billion, something like that. मतलब
Crazy. और कुछ ना कुछ
मतलब
चलता है।
ये ऐसे नहीं
रोज कुछ ना कुछ
मतलब
चल रहा है।
500 में और मतलब we are talking about lot of money dude.
एकदम से बैक टू बैक ऐसा करने लगे कि इंडिया बहुत ही खराब है, इंडिया के स्टार्टअप सिस्टम ही खराब है. आई डोंट थिंक देयर आर सो मेनी गुड स्टोरीज आल्सो.
I will
हर जगह होता है. मतलब हमारे यहाँ इतने बड़े, तो आई वाज रीडिंग अ ओवरऑल वैल्यू scams, if you want to call them scams, or let's say
fraud scam
misconduct.
yeah
Misconduct is the better word to use it. कि जो इंडिया में पूरे इकोसिस्टम में मिसकंडक्ट हुआ, वो जो लास्ट मिसकंडक्ट हुआ ना यूएस में FTX, उसका 1% भी नहीं है.
right agree
राइट. उसके पहले जो था थेरेनोस वाला,
right
पहले से उसके भी कुछ आसपास
US is way larger.
मतलब वो इतने बड़े बड़े उन्होंने क्या क्या किया है, we're not even close.
Agreed, but I think it's part of our evolving ecosystem here.
Exactly. So there are going to be bad cops, there are going to be
Good cop, but when you say you know why we highlight as India, we will because we are a country who was never privileged, right? We are not a privileged country lately, right? We have kind of as a country we have fought for everything. And when you fight for everything, the society has a different way to look at things around you, right? We're not a capitalist country purely. We're not a capital country, right? Like
थोड़ा
US.
डीप में बताओ उसमें मतलब क्या बोलना चाह रहे हो. I want to know कि इंडिया हर चीज लड़के मिला है हमें,
right? So मतलब since the from the British and at least some years back, if we go 1930s 20s whatever, and the operation we went through, right? After that, everyone in the society fought for everything from caste system to freedom to politics. It was a perpetual fighting forever to build anything in this country, right? We have seen rocket boys and we have seen how hard it was for them to launch the rocket, right? So and जैसे हमने इंडिया ने रॉकेट लॉन्च करा, क्या बोला यूएस वालों ने और लंदन ने कि अब पोवर्टी है इनके यहाँ इतनी, पर ये अपने उस पर पैसा नहीं खर्च रहा, राइट? बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ द वर्ल्ड लुक्स एट अस, राइट? कि भाई इनके देश में भी इतनी गरीबी है, ये है वो है. सेम goes internally for our country also. जो कुणाल शाह भी बोलता है that people are envious वाला direction. That kind of trait comes out, but that will be evident in our country. Any success will have 1,000 eyes to kind of dissect and say have they followed to the T or not. And unfortunately, the more responsibility lies on us rather than saying कि यार यूएस में भी होता है तो हम भी कर लेते हैं, कोई बात नहीं. वहाँ क्या होता है does not matter because उनका per capita income बहुत ज्यादा है, वो evolved countries हैं. Then you go and live there ना. Then you go and live there, no one is stopping you to live here, right? But if you're living here, you have to go through the whole grill of what you call it society courtroom, where you have to prove that you have done everything right again and again and again. And if you want to fight it, किसी हमें ये नहीं करना है, then you can't escape it. मतलब आपको करना ही पड़ेगा. There is no answer to it.
No, fair. I'm not saying that people should escape it और ये उनको जाना नहीं पड़ेगा. मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि ऑल ऑफ अ सडन सेंटिमेंट बहुत नेगेटिव हो गया जस्ट बिकॉज कुछ बेकार कंपनी. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि इंडिया इकोसिस्टम बेकार.
आई एग्रीड, बट एट द अदर साइड अगर आप ये कंपनीज हाईलाइट नहीं करोगे और ये चीजें हाईलाइट नहीं करोगे तो पता कैसे चलेगा? Then people don't know. People think it's all glamorous.
Yeah.
It is not glamorous, boss. It is not glamorous. The right way of earning money is not glamorous, and it takes a lot of time.
Oh yes.
To reach there.
Oh, for sure.
Right, but what we are seeing as examples are not the right ways of earning money, and we are saying, "Fuck, this is cool. I can also do it."
Yeah, that's a great line.
मतलब मैं हमारा our logic is that when we write that, we don't write it to defame any particular company, but our logic is larger audience should know. It is not all glory and good things. People go through these grills, and you should not do all this if you have to build a right company.
But do you believe that whoever has money has power?
No, definitely not.
No,
definitely not.
No,
it's a very different tactic.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
This is a larger narrative ना कि भाई तुम्हारे पास अगर बहुत पैसा है तुम पावरफुल हो, फिर क्या टेंशन है?
नहीं.
There are people जो मान लो अगर एग्जाम्पल कि आपके पास 1,000 करोड़ है और मेरे पास 10 करोड़ है तो भी मैं आपसे ज्यादा पावरफुल हो सकता हूँ. क्या बात?
Yes, definitely.
और कैसे आता है वो? It's because of the position or the people.
I think position and how well you are connected to with what set of people.
But money can buy almost everything, no?
But a lot of people cannot be bought.
Really?
Yeah, of course everyone has some price, as people say, but that's not money, right? And again, I will not take names, but like I have seen in my life growing up, some very good people who do not have enormous amount of money, but they have a lot of power, and power is not a bad thing. Power in a good way, right? They're able to help a lot of people on a phone call. They're able to bring the judicial machinery or the government machinery together for the right things without that money. And I've known peer founders and other people literally sitting on 1,000 crores, and they literally have to call other people to help them in the moment of crisis. because they have zero relationships.
Do you feel relationships are important?
I think relationships are more important than money and power, actually, right? Fundamentally, if you look at it, right? So if I would call you and I say, Raj, I need this help, so you will not ask कि अच्छा पहले बताओ कितने पैसे हैं और ये बताओ कि पावर कितनी है. Relationship है तो है और नहीं है तो नहीं है.
True.
And then you draw your line with each relationship, right? That in your mind you know to which extent will you go.
Yeah.
And that's because you cannot be 100% available for everyone.
Fair.
So I think relationships eventually, or people you want to call that, or your active participation in the society, which I think is diminishing as we are going ahead as a generation. Because I'm from Muzaffarnagar, so I go back and I see my father, still normal middle class guy, retired. People still respect him like crazy, and